As far as one looks towards all these things, the three steps rather, it seems that there is nothing wrong in it. Because that is as it is proclaimed by the politicians, the ruling parties. They are perfectly right when they say that one thing doesn't have doesn't have the connection with other things. But as an experience of the persons who are in a ruling party, as we find their ideologies, their roots in a kind of decadent sort of the nationalism. They are, one cannot assure that from first step to second step and second step to third step, certain ideology will work which will gradually devour the non-Hindus, and they may either create a lot of trouble in the life of the nation. As a student of botany, I was a lecturer of botany for 40 years and I did my PhD in biochemistry. I always give one particular example. Let's see, the longest life of the forest on this planet is mainly because of the great biodiversity in them. Take the case of the forest from, and particularly the tropical rainforests, who are much longer. Take the case from America, South America, Amazon, they have great forests. We come to the same belt comes to South Africa, India, and the Kerala part of India, Ceylon and Indonesia and Malaysia, etc. They have that great rainforests, tropical rainforests. Why are they so complex and why are they are having such a longevity? It's only because of biodiversity. If you decrease biodiversity, the forest will automatically get ruined. There will be no more. So I think that a metaphor of this can be used for this civilization. The moment we find that the plurality is decreased and monoculturalism dominates, those civilizations are already wiped out. For an example, we find that so many civilizations, Roman civilization, and then you find Babylonian and Assyrian and Syrian and Egyptian, all of them have gone because they became monoculture. So it is very dangerous to propagate one nation, one culture, one language. We should always be against that. The day we will come to this kind of thing, it will be a monoculturalism which will wipe out the entire country. And India, I hope, will not surrender to this. Maybe there are certain periods of such kind of the situations which are arising today, but I don't think they would last for a longer period. They are going to be wiped out, but there is still a time. I mean, as you have to wait for the sun arising, you have to wait for some wisdom to this country. All my childhood went in Hyderabad. Hyderabad was a state of Muslims. We call it Moglai in Marathi. Although they were not Mughals, but they say Moglai. Then we separated in 1958 because of the linguistic reorganization of the states. Hyderabad state was trifurcated. One part was joined to Maharashtra, that is known as Marathwada. Few districts went to Karnataka, and then like Marathwada, there was a separate socio-cultural identity of Telugus, and that is Telangana. Telangana became separated now, but it was formerly with Andhra Pradesh. We were living as what is termed in Hindi as Ganga Jamni culture. That's a mixed culture of Hindus and Muslims. It is very unfortunate that gradually a party like Shiva Sena entered Marathwada because they found fertile soil for their political. Because Marathwada had a number of Muslims. Wherever the Muslims were there, Shiva Sena wanted to establish an anti-Muslim move in that. Some riots occurred. They suddenly wanted to, and their agenda was taken by BJP, that they wanted to change the name Aurangabad, and they wanted to make it Sambhajinagar as an identity of the Hindus, and they created a lot of myths, maybe some of them true, some of them intensely colored, that Sambhaji was a great Dharmavir and a religious leader. That's why they wanted to remove the name of Aurangzeb. That is, Aurangabad is named after Aurangzeb because he died there near Aurangabad. I wrote a poem on one, and that poem has been translated into Hindi, Urdu, English and some other languages. The poem was also published, the translation of the poem done by Vishnu Khare in English. The name of the poet, well known in India, is Wali Dakhni. But in our area, we call him Wali Aurangabadi. And the idea of the poem was, they are going to wipe out the name of your place also, that is Aurangabadi. And then I gave a very tragic picture of the situation of Muslims who were economically backward in education, development and all those, and that was done as a part of the politics of the ruling party, which may be Congress or maybe some other thing. The Congress was keeping a goody terms with the Muslims, but the BJP is directly countering the Muslims. We find that a new generation doesn't have this problem. Whether you are a Muslim or a Hindu or Buddha or Sikh or Christian or Jews, whatever is your religion, the younger generation, particularly the generation that is in the metropolis cities and the developing cities, they don't have this problem. They don't, and I'm sure that they will certainly create a revolt against these things. This politics is not going to, the politics on religion is not going to stay for a longer period. That's what I suggest and what I feel intensely. And you find that the politics and religion must be kept away, thousands of miles away from each other. That has been said by all wise men in the past and even now. But if you have to rule a huge kind of the public, you must act only emotionally. And that's why the religion, there is no real religion. I mean, I am a Hindu. And many of my friends are Hindus or Muslims. They do not go to temples. They do not pray. They don't consider God and all those things. But the rulers always want them to bring in a cage of the religion. And once they come in the cage of the religion, they will be emotionally induced, so that either they can be ruled out from your ruling area, or they may keep quiet and surrender to whatever terrors are going. So, I am strongly against whatever is happening in the country today, and I am proud of telling you that by hook or crook, we have thrown out BJP from Maharashtra. Maybe there is a controversy about as to what is the ideology of Shiv Sena and all that, but at present, we became successful in driving out those things. And I hope that the same thing would happen in the later coming elections. Because, you know, my students actually, now my students are old generation students. They are, most of them are in 60s. But whenever I had an opportunity to talk with their sons and daughters, or the next generation, I mean the third generation from me, whenever I talk to them, they disagree with whatever is happening. They don't. Only thing is, if they belong to villages, then there is only thing that can impress them in the villages is media, television. And you know that media is, the way in which media is operating these days. They have been doing a lot of and taking back to the entire society some 100 years back. But these younger generation will not tolerate. I mean, for that, one has to work a lot in case of the villages. In cities, there is an awareness that this tactic of the ruling party is not going to occur. Ruling party, I mean, which is in the center, not in Maharashtra. But as far as the villages are concerned, we find that still there is a lot of work to be done against the media, present media, because they are polluting the minds of the people and younger generation. And the other thing that happens to be a very bad thing with us is, we always need an idol. Without idol, we can't be, we can't live properly if we don't have an idol. As far as the masses are concerned, not an individual case. All individuals won't have any kind of the model, role model or idols. But when you come in a mob, the mob psychology essentially requires a model, and this is going to happen with the masses of the villages, where they feel that these present leaders, they are actually something like very important leaders going to change the country and all that. So, that is why I said that an anti-media work should be done at the level of villages in Maharashtra or anywhere, because they usually live away from the modernity and the so-called modernity and development and the thinking. When your thinking is almost obsolete, when you select a role model, or and whatever is being done by Modi ji, Modi is a role model.